Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to week 3 of season 10 of the LDQL. I am a little bit sick, so I apologize in advance if that comes through in my voice or my energy level. But yeah, I am already a little bit late because I need to go somewhere, but I have to record this first, so I'm going to probably be as quick with this as possible. But we're just going to jump straight into the quizzes as always, starting with number 1. General knowledge based off of the theme song to Phineas and Ferb. Number 1, fighting a mummy is only possible in fiction. A trashy 1998 movie called Legend of the Mummy, in which a mummy goes on a killing spree, is adapted from what author's story? The Jewel of Seven Stars. A less trashy 1992 movie adaptation of another story by this author. Stars Gary Oldman as the title character, and Keanu Reeves as Jonathan Harker. Jonathan Harker is a character from Dracula, so Bram Stoker would be the author. I don't know about anything else in the question, but you just have to know who Jonathan Harker is, I guess. Works anyway. Or, obviously you could know what the movie is, but I don't know such things. Question 2, climbing up the Eiffel Tower is sure to give you a good view of Paris. If you look southeast from atop the tower, you'll be looking over what park, which contains the tower at its northwest end. It's named for an ancient Roman field where soldiers would gather before leaving to fight enemy tribes. This would be the Champ de Mars. Mars, I mean, it makes sense, right? I associate the Eiffel Tower with the Champ de Mars in the first place, but that the whole ancient Roman thing helped confirm that is almost certainly what's going on. Question 3, discovering something that doesn't exist happens all the time in science. And when it's caught, papers get retracted. One of the most cited papers to be retracted is a 2006 paper claiming that an amyloid beta protein called alpha beta 56 is the cause of what disease. The paper was retracted for using manipulated data, but the findings may not be completely untrue. They are associated with its disease, where they can aggregate to form clumps called plaques. Thought about this one for a bit because I wasn't really sure. My best guess here is Alzheimer's. This is just a guess, but I don't know why or if this is even the correct association, but the whole clumps thing I kind of associate with Alzheimer's. That's just kind of like the bell that it rang for me. I think that you get clumps in the nerve cells in your brain or whatever. But I might be wrong about that, or it might just be something completely different. So not totally sure. Question 4, surfing tidal waves is the dream of Cody Maverick. In the 2007 film Surf's Up, he's not a human. What animal is he? Blah, blah, blah. This, I believe, is a penguin. I'm pretty sure Surf's Up is just penguins. I've never seen the movie, but I'm familiar enough with it to know that it has penguins in it. Question 5, finding a dodo bird is impossible nowadays since the bird went extinct centuries ago. While it was alive, the dodo lived exclusively on what island? Mauritius is the island that the dodo was endemic to when it was a thing. And finally, painting a continent was necessary for Hans Holbein the Younger when he created the globes in the painting seen below. The two men seen in it have which job, which titles the painting. The globes may reflect the two men's well-traveled nature. These are the ambassadors. This is probably the most famous work by Holbein with the weird skull and stuff at the bottom. God, my voice is not really cooperating right now, but anyway, the ambassadors is the title of this painting. And as for what to enhance, I think either 2 or 6 is probably the hardest. I might enhance 6, to be honest, because I feel like this isn't very trivial art knowledge. It's just something I happen to know from Quiz Bowl and stuff. So I'll go with 6. Ambassador is penguin, good. Alzheimer's is correct. Champ de Mars, and that is 6 out of 6. Good stuff. All right. Again, yeah, sorry for moving a little more quickly through these, but I just kind of want to get through this because, I don't know, my voice is already tired and I need to go. So, Quiz 2, Ray-Ban, LensCrafters, Oakley, and many, many more brands are subsidiaries of a company currently monopolizing the eyewear industry that formed in 2018 after the merger of a French company and an Italian company. Name either company that contributed to the merger. I don't have the slightest idea. I'm going to say Armani, which is probably completely wrong. I guess I should say Giorgio Armani. I don't know. I mean, that's an Italian company that exists and probably makes eyewear, but I tried to think of a company that was primarily about eyewear, and I couldn't really think of one that wasn't one that was already listed here. So, yeah, I just don't know anything about things that are fashion related, even tangentially. Question 2, what adjective comes before stack when describing a software developer or engineer who has experience on all parts of the developmental process? including front end and back end. In a different astronomical context, this adjective is the opposite of new. I actually don't know what the astronomical thing is here, but I'm pretty sure full stack, like a full stack developer, is that's just a term that exists. I've definitely heard that a few times before, so I'm pretty sure that is the adjective we want. Question 3, the name Pakistan was first proposed as a sort of acronym representing 5 constituent regions making up what is now the nation of Pakistan. Name any of those 5 regions. So this is kind of weird. Like, I know the provinces of Pakistan. There's 4 of them. There's Balochistan, Sindh, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and Punjab. But 5, I mean, the 5th one might be Kashmir. It might be like Gilgit-Baltistan. I mean, there's a few other parts of Pakistan that exist that are disputed, etc. But I don't know what the 5 are. I mean, maybe it's just the 4 provinces plus like Kashmir, or Jammu and Kashmir or whatever. But to be honest, I don't know, and I'm worried that the regions aren't the provinces and that they're different. But I'm just gonna say Balochistan because that might be where the stan in Pakistan came from. Um, but again, like Pak could be like Pakhtunkhwa, I guess, but like Sindh or Punjab, I have no idea where those fit into this, so it just kind of freaks me out basically. But uh, I just hope that this is right because if the regions of Pakistan if they don't correspond to the provinces, I'm just not going to know them, I don't think. Question 4, the search for a way to reconcile general relativity and quantum mechanics motivated the main character's scientific explorations in what 2014 biopic? Should be The Theory of Everything. I had to write a 10-page paper on the theory of everything when I was in freshman, and it was not a very good choice of a topic to write about because I learned that apparently physics academic papers are really freaking complicated. So I was trying to find source material for this paper, and I was just trying to write like surface level kind of, explanations of, oh, why can't we reconcile general relativity with quantum mechanics? But it turns out this stuff is really, really complicated, and trying to get anything out of those papers that I understood even a little bit was actually quite difficult. So I ended up just kind of reading the abstracts and doing what I could with them. But anyway, that is what this movie is about. It's about Stephen Hawking. It's a good movie, as I recall, at least. Referred to by some as the Avengers of reality TV, what Alan Cumming hosted reality game series boasts a variety cast sourced from other reality shows, including Survivor, Big Brother, The Bachelor, Vanderpump Rules, and more. It is based on a similar Dutch series and features mafia-like social deception gameplay. I don't have the slightest idea, like not even a little bit. I'm going to get laughed at for this, but I'm going to say Love Island because I know that this is a reality show that exists. And I don't know a lot of reality shows that exist. I mean, I guess there's like The Amazing Race is a thing. I'm quite sure that that's not what this is. I'm also quite sure that this isn't Love Island, to be honest, but I think realistically the answer is probably something I've never heard of. So I'm just going to go ahead and give up because this is just not a subject that I know anything about. Finally, question 6. What term for print formatting refers to a sheet of paper that has been folded once to create 4 pages, thus being twice the size of a quarto, and is perhaps best known for appearing in the names of 2 works from the 1600s that each collected all of William Shakespeare's plays? The famous one is the first folio. I don't know, maybe the second folio or something is the other one, but folio should be the term that we want here. And that's for what to enhance. Honestly, probably folio. I think that 2, 3, and 4 are all pretty gettable. 1 and 5 are probably wrong. 3 could be wrong too, but if it is what I think it is, like just say a province, then I think a lot of people will probably get it. So I don't know. I don't think folio is super easy, so I'll just go with that. It's the best I'm going to do. I don't know which parts of the motorcycle you want me to click. Okay, that works. First and second folio. The Traders, as expected, I've never heard of it. Oh dear. Oh boy. Well, it's a good thing I didn't say Khyber Pakhtunkhwa because that was not one of the 5. So Punjab, Sindh, and Balochistan were correct. Afghania and Kashmir. I've never even heard of Afghania. I don't know what the heck that is. It's kind of crazy. Essilor and Luxottica. Once again, literally never heard of either of those. That's crazy. I mean, maybe that's just really famous, but this is just not a thing that I know. So unlucky. But full stack of full moon. Oh, I get it. Full and new moon. Okay. I was like, what? How is full the opposite of new? Um, I get it now. Yep. Okay. So that's 4 out of 6, and the other two I literally didn't stand a chance on. So that's perfectly solid. Uh, I'm gonna pause the recording. Be right back. All right, back for quiz number 3, pop culture, which is all about Portuguese-speaking things. Number 1, Brazilian soccer team saw impressive success at which event held over the past month in the U.S. In particular, Fluminense FC made it to the semi-final before losing to Chelsea, the eventual winners of the competition. This is the Club World Cup, or FIFA Club World Cup, I think. I'm just going to call it the Club World Cup. I'm sure that is enough. Question number 2. American actor Chris Tucker is one of the is it FIFA or is it like not UEFA? What is it? See, that's the thing. I don't know. Maybe it's just Club World Cup. I don't follow this stuff anymore, so I don't actually know what it's called, but um I don't know. Is it organized by FIFA? I legit have no idea. Anyway, question 2. American actor Chris Tucker is one of many African Americans to be descended from ancestors in what is now Angola. Tucker starred alongside Ice Cube in a film titled For Which Day of the Week. That film is the source of the phrase by Felicia, as well as a clip in which the two protagonists say damn, an image of which is seen below. Unfortunately, I don't know. Obviously, I've seen this clip before. It's very famous, but I don't know what the movie is. So it's 1 out of 7, and I have no idea. So I'm just gonna say, I don't know, Monday. Question 3: Which style of dance associated with the Carnival Festival has its roots in Africa, but is now one of the prominent styles of dance in Brazil? Seen both on the streets and in competitions, of the 10 dance styles found in standard international dance sport competitions, is the only one primarily associated with a Lusophone country. I believe this is samba. This is just the style of dance that I associate with Brazil. Question 4. The song Onde Estás is an early song entirely in Portuguese by which Canadian artist whose parents immigrated to Canada from Portugal. This artist would go on to have 3 number 1 singles over the course of her career, 2 of which were collaborations with producer Timbaland. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna say this is like fully wrong, but I'm gonna say Shania Twain. I know that she's Canadian, and I can't think of many other Canadian artists, none of whom make any more sense than this. So, again, I think this is just a skill issue, but it's just not something I know much about. So this is the best I was able to come up with. Question 5. A Marcel Camus film set in Rio de Janeiro, titled for a black version of what mythological character is among the more lasting Portuguese language films. Protagonist who shares his name with this mythological character is a guitarist whose girlfriend dies during Carnival. So, like, musician whose girlfriend dies sounds to me a heck of a lot like Orpheus. I mean, I can't be 100% sure, but it's like, I don't know. This cluing would be very deceptive if that wasn't correct, because it just sounds like Orpheus, to be quite honest. And finally, question 6. In 2011, what genre of Portuguese music was the first part of Portuguese culture to be placed on the UN's representative lists of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity? This melancholy genre of music traditionally features acoustic guitar and the 12-string Portuguese guitar. A clip of the genre can be found here. I don't know if I'm going to get demonetized for playing this or not. I might just not, to be honest. I think I'm just gonna. I mean, I don't know the answer anyway. I'm gonna say bossa nova, which I'm pretty sure is Brazilian, not Portuguese. So pretty sure it's wrong. If I remember to do so, I'll leave a link in the description to this particular audio clip so you guys can hear it if you want to listen to it and give it a go yourself. But I listened to it and it didn't really do anything for me. So yeah, not ideal, this quiz. I just don't really know these things. But again, that's, that happens on pop culture quizzes. So I'll probably enhance number 1, even though I don't think it's that hard, because I think it's probably the hardest one that I actually feel confident about. So 1 it is, and we will see. Okay, it is FIFA. Do not accept World Cup, but I assume Club World Cup is fine. Friday, fair enough. I mean, I don't know what the movie is, so There's not much I can do about that other than, I might have gotten lucky, but I didn't. Samba is correct. Nelly Furtado, as expected, that's a skill issue. I have heard of her, but I don't really know anything by her, or I didn't know she was Canadian. But yeah, last name kind of makes sense, so fair enough. Orpheus, and then Fado. I've never heard of that in my life. So, yeah, 3 out of 6. Not ideal, but it happens. Pop culture moment. On to quiz number 4. This is kind of a cool quiz, actually. In this quiz, each question will show 3 places, cities, subdivisions, etc., whose names all share partial etymology, give the English translation of the root shared by all 3 places. Number 1, Hokkaido, Uttarakhand, and Taipei. I'm not actually sure, but best guess I have is north. I know that Uttar Pradesh means like northern province or northern state. And so Uttar presumably means north. You see it in like Uttaradits in Thailand as well. And Hokkaido is the northernmost part of Japan, and Taipei is north within Taiwan. So it definitely would check out. If it's the Khand part of Uttarakhand, then I'm out of luck, I think. But I think north makes a lot of sense here, so I feel reasonably okay about it. Question 2, we have presumably Johor Bahru, and then Novosibirsk Oblast in Russia, and Novi Sad, Serbia. Novi, presumably what we're doing is new. I guess Bahru probably in Malay means new. I didn't know that, but yeah, Novo and Novi both definitely mean new, so I think this is almost certainly right. Question 3, we have the Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan, the Rio Negro in South America, and finally Pointe Noire, which is a coastal city in the Republic of the Congo. Noir, Negro, and I guess Kara all mean black. I know that Karakum Desert means black sand because Kizilkum, the one in Uzbekistan, that means red sand. So I guess Kara is black in whatever language it is. But anyway, these other ones they definitely do mean black. Question 4, I believe that's Bandar Abbas in Iran, Marihaman in the Åland Islands, and Porto Novo, I believe it is at least in Benin. So presumably just port. I mean, Porto Novo, you'd say port for that. I mean, Novo would mean new, but we already had new, and also, I mean, Bandar, I think, like Bandar Lampung, Bandar, I mean, there's a couple Bandars in like Southeast Asia too. I don't know if it's derived from Sanskrit or Persian or whatever, but I think Bandar means port, so I think it checks out. And then Hamn, I guess, is Swedish for port. I mean, I guess it's like Haven in Danish, for example. So I think that checks out as well. Question 5, Santiago suburb is probably Puente Alto. City in southern Bosnia, I believe, is Mostar. And then you have Saarbrücken in southwestern Germany. All of these mean bridge. Brücken or Brücke in German. Most in Slavic languages, and then Puente in Spanish are all bridge. And then question 6, these place names share a 2-word phrase. You may give either individual word or the whole 2-word phrase. So the first one is Świętokrzyskie in Poland, which is Holy Cross. It means Holy Cross. And you have Santa Cruz de la Sierra, Bolivia. Santa Cruz meaning Holy Cross. And then Saint Croix, St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands, meaning, you guessed it, Holy Cross. So I'll just say Holy Cross. As for what to enhance, I'm really not that sure, because a lot of these feel moderately difficult, but none of them seem crazy difficult to me. I might enhance bridge because I feel like knowing Puente Alto or Mostar is not easy at all. Saarbrücken, I think, is a little more gettable, and if you're like from Germany, you're going to be able to figure that out, but I still think a lot of people probably won't know what that is, so feels like the best thing, but I don't know. I think a lot of these are reasonable candidates for enhancing, so not sure if I'm doing the right thing here, but I think bridge is at least moderately difficult, so I feel okay about it. Speaking of bridges, we shall see. North is correct. Good. Hok apparently is north in Japanese or Ainu or whatever it is. Uttarakhand and Taipei, so I guess Pei means north. Baru, Novo, and Novi for new. Kara, Negro, and Noir for black. Bandar, Hamen, and Porto for port. As expected, Puente, Mostar, and Brücken for bridge, and then Świętokrzyskie, Santa Cruz, and St. Croix for Holy Cross, and that is 6 out of 6. So yeah, I mean, I figured I was probably getting all of those correct, but I still quite enjoyed that quiz. Kind of fun to. I mean, I always like geography quizzes, obviously, but kind of a cool spin on a geography quiz there with the etymological links. So I quite enjoyed that. Quiz number 5. In his song "We Didn't Start the Fire," Billy Joel lists a series of major events of the mid 1900s. Early on, he mentions televisions, which at the time used cathode ray tubes. The electron guns in cathode ray tubes most commonly have a filament made of what element due to its extremely high melting point? Not sure, to be honest. I'll say tungsten because that is kind of the element I associate with having a super high melting point, but there are probably other elements that also do. So not really sure, but I don't know much about the contents of cathode ray tubes or incandescent bulbs, so it's just a guess. Question 2, Dacron or I don't know. A synthetic clothing fabric launched by DuPont is a type of material defined by being a polymer where repeating units are connected by linkages of what functional group, which can be produced using an alcohol and a carboxylic acid in a method discovered by Emil Fischer. I'm not sure. I mean, it could be ester, ether, ketone, aldehyde. I'll just say ketone. I mean, it's just one of the functional groups. There are a lot of functional groups, and I don't ever remember which ones are which because they're all relatively similar to each other. So, yeah, my organic chemistry knowledge is not deep enough to be confident about this, but this at least has a chance of being correct. Question 3, when Einstein passed away, one of his ongoing projects was to discredit the use of randomness in quantum physics, famously saying God does not play dice. That mission challenged an indeterministic interpretation of quantum physics named for what city because of its association with Niels Bohr. I mean, I just have to say Copenhagen. I mean, Bohr is famously Danish, and city with an association with Niels Bohr. I mean, if it's another city in Denmark, then rip me. If it's not in Denmark, then very much rip me, but like, there's no way I'm not going to say Copenhagen. Question 4, the morning sickness drug thalidomide notoriously caused numerous birth defects in large part because of its inhibition of angiogenesis, which refers to the formation of what structures. These structures are narrowed and widened in vasoconstriction and vasodilation, respectively. Pretty sure vasoconstriction is blood vessels. I hope that I can just say blood vessels. I'm a little bit worried that they want like arteries or veins. But I also feel like if they did, they would probably tell us to be more specific. I'm not totally sure. And maybe vaso refers to one specifically rather than the other. But I don't know. To me, vasoconstriction and vasodilation are just blood vessels expanding and contracting. So hopefully that is all they need. Question number 5. One of the space monkeys Billy mentions is Abel, who was sent to space and safely returned. Abel was what kind of monkey that were commonly used in controversial experiments and are the namesake of a factor used in blood typing. This is, of course, the rhesus macaque or rhesus monkey. The rhesus factor is the whole positive negative thing in the blood type. And finally, question 6, one of the first drugs used to treat the AIDS epidemic was azidothymidine, or AZT, a member of a class of drugs designed to combat what kind of virus? HIV is one of these viruses that uses reverse transcriptase to convert RNA to DNA after inserting into a host cell. I think this is what a retrovirus is. I mean, retro meaning backwards makes sense. Reverse transcriptase, RNA to DNA. I mean, I think it checks out. But again, it's possible that this is something else, and I'm mixing it up with this. But I still feel reasonably confident that that's what is what's happening here. So yeah, I kind of want to enhance 4. Like I am still a little bit worried that it's going to be arteries or veins, but I don't know. I feel like they would tell us to be more specific because I remember hearing about it or looking it up recently. There was like a trivia round at my bowling league like a month ago or so that was I asked about vasoconstriction, and I was like, anyway, I remember what it is through that. So again, hopefully it's not arteries or veins, but I feel pretty confident that it's just blood vessels. So I am gonna take that slight risk and go for the enhanced there, because the rest of the ones I have feel kind of more straightforward. It would be nice if I knew the functional group, but I'm just not sure about that at all. So, yeah. I don't know which ones you want me to count. Maybe just those? Nope. Okay, apparently not. Surely these six. Okay. Retrovirus, rhesus monkey, blood vessels, good. Copenhagen, ester, that is oh, polyester. Okay, that makes sense. You know, I'm not even gonna lie. I had never made the connection that the word polyester was like polyester. Like I've never associated the word ester with the word polyester. Like that's never even occurred to me. So that's kind of crazy. I won't forget it now. But 5 out of 6 is solid. Unlucky on the functional group, but it was always just going to be a guess. So I will take it. Quiz number 6 is a history quiz. In 1421, the capital of Ming China was moved northwest to what is now Beijing. What city had served as the capital for the previous 60 years? Not sure, but the best guess I'm going to come up with here is Nanjing, because I'm pretty sure Beijing means northern capital and Nanjing means southern capital. The issue is, like, it's possible that those terms were used in like a different dynasty, like maybe Beijing and Nanjing were the northern and southern capitals of a completely different dynasty, and it's not Nanjing. But I am pretty sure that Nanjing is southeast of Beijing, roughly at least. So I think it makes a lot of sense, and I'm not going to come up with a better guess. Question 2. The 1520s saw a major phase of the Italian Wars, a prolonged stretch of fighting over control of Italy. The wars were primarily fought between Habsburg Spain and France, which was ruled by what house at the time? House of Bourbon succeeded this house in 1589 after Henry III died childless. I don't know. I mean, I don't know houses well at all. This has always been kind of a weak spot for me. I know the names of certain rulers and such, but like what house they were a part of is just not something I ever really internalized, because I don't know, it just wasn't that interesting to me, I guess. But I'm gonna say Savoy because I think that is a French royal house, and I'm gonna embarrass myself when it ends up being like an English one or something. But Savoy is a house that exists. I would have guessed Bourbon if it didn't say Bourbon in the question, but this is the best I'm gonna come up with. Question 3. The painting seen below shows the 1620 signing of an agreement by people aboard what ship? Signatories included Miles Standish and William Bradford. Surely this is the Mayflower, like the Mayflower Compact. 1620, obviously the year checks out. Question 4. In 1721, the Treaty of Nystad was signed, put an end to which aptly named war fought between Sweden and Russia. This presumably is the Great Northern War. The aptly named clue kind of helps because obviously it's up in the north, so it makes sense. My other thought was like the Winter War, but I think Finland was a part of that. Like the White Death and stuff, I think was the Winter War. So I feel pretty confident that this is what the Great Northern War is. Question 5. The Decembrist Revolt of 1825 and February Revolution of 1917 both took place in what country against rulers with what regnal name? So it's definitely Russia, because the Decembrist Revolt is 100% a Russia thing. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to be Nicholas because I know that the last Tsar of Russia was Nicholas II, and I think that 1917 checks out timing-wise for like the Russian Revolution and like Lenin and all of that. So, yeah, I mean, I think it would make a lot of sense if 1917 was when the last Tsar existed, even if I, wasn't totally sure about that going in. I just feel like Nicholas, I mean, it's probably Nicholas I and Nicholas II are the two ones being referenced here. And it could be like Alexander or something, but I feel like 1917 should just be the last Tsar and the end of the Romanov dynasty. So hopefully I'm not wrong about that. Question 6. 1920 saw 2 notable feats in transatlantic flight. First solo nonstop transatlantic flight was in 27, and the first female one was in 28. It would take 4 more years for that same woman to achieve the first solo nonstop transatlantic flight by a woman. Name both aviators. Probably, hopefully, this is going to be Lindbergh and Earhart. Because to be honest, I don't really know who else I would guess for either of these. These are just kind of the 2 aviators that are the most famous for, well, doing this basically. So hopefully that is the right train of thought. And honestly, I think I'm going to enhance 5 because, like, I feel like the rest of these, I either don't know them or they're very gettable. Like Mayflower and Great Northern, I think are quite gettable. 6 as well is gettable. 2, I just don't feel very good about. 1, like, I feel okay about 1, but again, I'm not confident enough to enhance it. And also, if it is Nanjing, I still think a lot of people will probably get it. So, yeah, I think 5 is the best choice. It's a little bit of a risk because it I'm not 100% sure it's Nicholas, but I feel like it almost certainly is. So we shall see. Nicholas in Russia, good. Lindbergh and Earhart, Great Northern War, the Mayflower, Valois. Dang it. Okay, Nanjing is correct. I'll take that. Valois, that's totally a thing. Again, that's a skill issue. I need to be better with royal houses, but it's always been kind of a weakness for me. So that's all right. 5 out of 6 is still not so bad. Finally, a current events quiz. On June 3rd, the government of what country collapsed after the Party of Freedom pulled out of a 4-party coalition? 3-party coalition, blah, 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 now operate in a limited capacity where they're not allowed to make decisions on certain important issues. Not totally sure about this one, to be honest, but I think hopefully that it's the Netherlands, because I do remember, I mean, I have some Dutch friends, and I remember not long ago they were talking about, like, the government kind of falling apart, and I remember there was some discourse about this from my Dutch friends. So hopefully this is the right thing, and it's not something else. But I know that there was some political turmoil happening recently in the Netherlands. So yeah, we'll see. Question 2. In mid-June, Israel and Iran exchanged volleys of missiles, though no further escalation has happened. Some of the missiles sent by Iran are believed to have been Fatah missiles, which belong to what category? Defined as being able to travel at least 5 times faster than the speed of sound. Such missiles would pose serious problems for Israel's Iron Dome defense system. I mean, I know that supersonic is a word that means faster than the speed of sound. I think hypersonic is a word that exists and means obviously super fast, but there are probably other words that mean super fast, and this is not something I know cold, so this is a total guess, to be quite honest. I know that this is a word, so hopefully it's the right word, but yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's a guess. Question 3. On June 28th, the picture below was taken in which capital city? The massive crowd at the city's Pride Festival came after a bill was passed in March that outlawed any display of homosexuality to people under 18. Again, I feel like I've seen these pictures, and I heard about this briefly when it was happening, but I don't remember what city it was, unfortunately. I'm going to say Warsaw, but I don't feel that good about it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's Europe, somewhere in like Central Eastern Europe, but I just don't remember which city it is. Like, it could be, I mean, it could be a lot of things. It could be Belgrade, it could be Bucharest, it could be Kiev, it could be Budapest. Like, I think it's one of those cities in that area, but I just can't remember which one, which is unfortunate. Question 4. Also on June 28th, the BBC elected not to air a live performance by which Irish punk rap group at Glastonbury. This band, one of whose members often wears a ski mask in the colors of the Irish flag, has gotten into legal trouble in the UK on terrorism charges after one of its members is alleged to have draped himself in a Hezbollah flag at another show. I have literally no idea. I'm gonna say now, please don't come after me in the comments for not knowing what this is. I don't know if this is really obvious. I'm sure my guess is going to be completely wrong and probably insulting to some people. I'm going to say Muse because I think that this is a modern band that exists, and to be honest, that's all I really know. Again, don't kill me. Like, I don't know what any of this is, and this is just not, this is not the type of thing that I'm tuned into, so I apologize for my horrible guess, but I don't have anything here. On July 7th, Donald Trump made this Truth Social post about what former leader. He's on trial on charges of attempting to incite a coup among his supporters after losing his election. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to say Bolsonaro, because this just sounds very Bolsonaro. I certainly don't know the actual Truth Social post, but like, I don't know. I mean, somebody attempting to incite a coup among his supporters after losing an election just kind of sounds like Bolsonaro to me. And question 6, the Tour de France is currently going on. As of stage 9, the leader of the prestigious general classification is the Slovenian, who won the Tour in 3 of the past 5 years. Meanwhile, the Dane, who won it in 22 and 23, is currently in 4th. Name either right or mentioned. I have literally no idea. I'm going to say Larsen, because that is a common Danish name, and that is the best I'm going to be able to do with that. And yeah, this is a rough quiz for me. Very rough. Again, anytime there's a current events quiz, I do terribly with it. So no real surprise. But I don't even know what to enhance because I don't feel very confident about any of my answers. I might enhance Bolsonaro because this just sounds very Bolsonaro to me. I feel like that or maybe the Netherlands is what I should go for. Um, but like, is there really a party in the Netherlands called Virgil van Dijk, by the way? Because that would be really funny if it was. But anyway, I don't know. I don't feel very good about any of them. I know that there was turmoil in the Netherlands, but I don't know if it was this turmoil or if this is just something different. But yeah, hopefully the Bolsonaro vibes are correct. I mean, I don't know, it's the type of person Trump would probably defend. So I will go ahead and enhance 5 and just hope for the best. But I don't know. Not happening. Bolsonaro good. Kneecap. Budapest. Oh, hypersonic. Okay, we take those. And Netherlands is correct too. Okay, so 3 out of 6 is honestly probably better than I expected to get on that quiz. Kneecap, I have never heard of in my life. That's the Irish band or whatever. Literally no clue. Budapest is unfortunate because that was one of the ones I mentioned, but again, I just couldn't remember which one it was, so unlucky. And then Pogachar and Vingegord, never heard of these guys in my life. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I get for not following cycling, question mark, but I don't know, just not interesting to me at all. So, 3 out of 6 is going to have to do. And that's going to do it for the week. I still like 10 hours until the deadline, and I'm not going to be home for a week. So, yeah, this is going to be coming out fairly late. So, apologies for that. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and leave now because my voice is getting tired. But I'll see you guys in a sec for a recap of week number 3, and we will see how I did in the end. Right, so just a quick recap of week number 3 of the LDQL. I finished in 9th place. Decent week. I think it was my worst of the season so far. I finished in 5th in week 2 and 3rd in week 1, but still, of course, not all that bad, especially given the quality of the competition. So yeah, not too much else for me to say. I know that this video is very late, but weeks 4 and 5 should be coming out, fingers crossed, very soon after this one. So yeah, I should be hopefully roughly on time once the championship comes around. But yeah, that's it for week 3. I hope you guys enjoyed another week of the LDQL, and I will see you again soon. Bye.